March 13, 2024, 6 o'clock. Council Vice President Paulus, would you please read the Open Public Meeting Act statement?
This meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of March 13, 2024 was included in the list of meeting notices sent to newspapers of record and posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and has remained continuously posted as the required notices under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk.
Would everyone please rise as able physically to rise?
Behind us.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Skirbo, would you please do the invocation?
We gather to make decisions for our community. May we use only our best skills and judgment, keeping ourselves impartial and neutral as we consider the merits and pitfalls of each matter that is placed before us, and always act in accordance with what is best for our community and our fellow citizens. Amen.
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 Roll call, please.
Councilman Clark?
Here.
Councilman Kennedy?
Here.
Councilman Skirbo?
Here.
Council Vice President Paulus?
Here.
Council President Marino?
Here. Public discussion on agenda items only. Anyone wants to speak, you can come to the podium, just state your name, 3 minutes.
Hi, Ann Davis. Question about the budget, just real quickly. We're increasing personnel. What new positions will we be creating?
Mayor, you have that information for us?
Yeah, so we've already filled an HR position that was sorely needed. Hold on, let me get to that spot. What else have we done? We've done HR, we've increased in inspections.
One additional admin position in inspections.
An additional DPW position that was left, of 3 that were left vacant. So we'd like to get back up to 2 more in the future, 2 more on top of that.
And what are the actual ones that were vacant?
3 DPW, we have.
Which positions in DPW? Laborers, truck drivers?
Laborers. 2 admin in inspections.
2 admin inspections, yes.
And they've been posted and filled?
One has,
1 has been filled.
Posted and filled.
yes.
So it was posted and applications were accepted?
Yeah.
Because when I opened that, I was told no responsive records existed.
For the, I don't recall an Oprah on the inspections position.
So HR was a new position created.
And that one was posted.
That was posted, interviewed before my tenure, and I ended up filling the position based on applicants. And I think that's what we have right now, as far as new positions go.
Because I'm just confused, because obviously taxes are skyrocketing, which is really going to affect our residents, especially
Sure.
our seniors on limited, budgets, limited incomes. And not trying to be nasty, but you were on council for 4 years and none of this ever came up. You said we needed more people in inspections. I don't think anybody will disagree with that, but that's not what you targeted out of the gate. You targeted
What
a
did I
different
target out
person.
of the
Well,
gate?
all right, I'll just say a person was targeted, but it's a discussion for another time. We know why. We know what's going on, but
No, we
none
don't.
of this in 4
Explain,
years.
please.
No, in 4 years that you were on council and council president, you never brought any of this up.
Sure
So
we
now
did.
it just,
We said we needed increased inspections, correct?
Mhm.
We said
Yep.
we needed a qualified HR person, right?
I don't remember that, but okay. I mean, it was posted, so that's, I'm good with that.
So what else?
Well, you're just saying 3 laborers in a DPW, another administrative position, what other
Administrative position was in the inspections department, which was brought up in the past.
Right. But I mean, nothing came before council to hire another person in inspections. How come some positions come before council to be approved, but others do not?
Because some positions are advice and consent, some aren't.
Okay.
Our form of government requires department heads to come before advice and consent. Am I wrong, Rich?
No,
Let him answer, let him
No.
answer.
So our form of government, if you want to read up on it, advice and consent for different boards like open space. Different positions like department heads come before advice and consent. Other ones are up to the admin's discretion to fill.
Okay, so any of these that would fall under civil service, that process is going to be followed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
So that's our form of government. We have followed that form of government and civil service every step of the way.
Okay. Just asking. Just wanna be clear.
What was the, you said there was a question, right?
Yeah, it was just, I'm curious because your letter in the budget had said we need to increase personnel.
Yes.
And it just seems like we had an agenda item a month ago where an organizational chart from, let's be honest, it was like 20 to 30 years old was
It's true.
attached to that.
It's true.
So we haven't had any of those positions in all that time. It's never come up.
Yeah.
Now it's coming up and we're looking at a substantial increase in this town.
Yeah.
That unfortunately people are not going to be able to afford.
So that organizational chart was deviated from. And I think people have seen the lack of service and their quality of life decrease because those positions have not been filled. We just discovered a grant for $2.6 million that was sitting in an inbox and nobody noticed it because we don't have the admin positions. We were notified of this, nobody knew about it. That was $2.6 million left from last year. Nobody even saw. That ended up in an inbox that was empty. So these positions were left vacant and they need to be refilled. They need to be backfilled. Laborers in DPW, I think we have great garbage service. I think we have great plowing service. Could be better, and I want to make that better. Based on the old organizational chart, we used to be more staff. Our quality of life here in town used to be better. We'd like to try to bring that back. And I think we're on our way to do that.
I mean, I just wanted to ask, because a lot of people are saying, well, where are these new positions coming from? Unfortunately.
Yeah, the
You know,
new
we haven't
posi-
had them in decades.
And
now
I
we're
think it
bringing
shows.
them
I
back
think
out.
it shows by the quality of service that we've gotten here in town. So back to the tax increase. So the tax increase, we have seen a substantial increase in, our insurance is up 6.8%, pension is up 6%, debt service is up 72%. That's because,
There's things you can't control, I understand that. Insurance
Yeah.
premiums,
So-
your contracts you have with your bargaining units, you're going to have to do cost of living
so
increases, whatever's been
debt service
negotiated.
from last year, we deferred $600,000 last year to keep the budget flat. We have to pay that this year. That is half of the increase this year. That we decided not to pay our bills last year, okay? The mayor, in this last line of our CFO's write-up, says that no funds were appropriated in the 2023 budget anticipated note payment for at the request of the mayor. So we now have to make up $600,000 in payment this year. That is, our tax increase is $1.2 million deferred to this year. We're paying our bills this year. Last year, we didn't pay our bills. We're also trying to restaff positions that were left vacant. And it shows. It shows we're not catching emails. We are not, I think, dealing with HR issues appropriately. We are now doing that. We have a qualified person. It's not a person who was hired as a keyboard clerk who was then given the duties of an HR person. We have a highly qualified, certified HR person. Anybody who works in the private sector knows that human resources is a very, it's an integral part of your daily operations. There's a lot of laws, specialized laws, ones that people need to be trained and certified in. So we We absolutely address that.
So the person in HR is a certified HR person?
They have HR experience with
But,
certifications.
okay, I'm just asking, because I mean, I know I've sent a couple emails that I haven't gotten any responses to, so I'm just kind of curious. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, we are going to have a public discussion on the budget, so I appreciate that you went into the details so they can learn. That we're, why it's at this part of the meeting, you can answer a question and keep it to 3 minutes.
Sure.
So
Sorry
here's,
about
I
that.
just
No,
have,
that's okay.
Yes.
I
Just
just
want
have
to
a
make sure
question.
everybody understands it.
The mayor quoted, we have a grant, we can apply for this grant for $2.6 million?
We
Or-
received.
We received, okay,
Yes.
so the $2.6 million, can't we use that to pay our bills?
So that grant is specific in, I think it's roadway, stormwater. It was very specified. Certain grants are very specified in what they can be used for.
So that's not the grant that Mr. O'Brien talked about? This is a different grant?
Different grant.
Okay, so I thought that grant was something else that he talked about, so this is a different grant?
Wasn't it the truck route that Tim talked about?
Well, he had a whole list of different things like, and whatnot prior, I thought.
This was one that was applied for and received last year. This has nothing to do with 2024.
So not to cut you off, Mayor, so our taxes are going up how much? Bottom line.
For every $100,000 of assessment, it's about $45 a quarter.
Okay, and that includes everything with the school tax that's gonna go up 2%?
I don't know what the school's gonna come in at.
Okay, so bottom line, are we looking at how many percentage?
Bob, what's the percentage on that?
11%.
11%.
Okay, 11%. Okay.
It is.
I
It is.
think keep it down.
Okay, so 11% now. 11%, I'm not real good with math, I'll be honest, but 11%, okay. How's that gonna affect us all here in town? I mean, I know we want businesses to come in here. We're already talking about inflation. We're not getting any pay raises here, but everything's going up. So how's that gonna affect? And I understand we gotta pay our bills. And we've had this discussion last year with the previous mayor.
Yeah.
So why can't we just send him the bill, since he created this mess? And I'm being dead serious.
So last year, items were offset. There's been a lot of talk saying you can't, last year's budget shouldn't be discussed when talking about this year's budget. Last year, we used $800,000 in the remaining of the COVID money. We used, I forget, about $100,000 in the remaining of the sale of assets, Bob. We transferred capital money over into operating. How much was that?
Another 140,000.
So your infrastructure money, your capital money was transferred out to offset last year's budget, along with not paying bond payments last year. So you're looking at about $800,000 between capital and bond payments that were deferred last year that we have to now try to make up. So that's where we're at.
How are we gonna justify this for the residents of the town? Because we have a lot of people that can't afford this increase. So maybe we can relook at the budget and cut somewhere, somehow. I mean, the people, this is what we're here for, our residents.
So we were able to.
I mean, we have to pay our bills.
Sure.
No way. I mean, we have to pay it.
Yeah, as adults, we're expected to pay our bills. We ask our
Absolutely.
residents to pay our bills. Last year, as a town, we didn't pay our bills.
I mean, maybe we can cut some salaries, take no raises, something, because it's not fair to us residents that we're always eating the burden of it.
So we were able to, non-discretionary obviously is up. Those are charges that we really don't control, but discretionary, we were able to cut about 200,000. So we did offset 3 cents in discretionary. Yeah. We were at 20-some cents. We went back through and cut more.
Can we cut more?
I'm open to,
Well, that will be for,
Yeah.
excuse me, Mayor, that will be for the public discussion and glad
Okay,
to
thank
answer
you.
your comments at that time.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Dan Boyce. I'm hoping that, to talks on the budget are taken serious by everybody, and chicanery stops. There's posts on social media now talking about the budget and how they're fiscally responsible and everything, but what they're not mentioning isn't by a sitting council member right now. What they're not saying is that they are responsible for part of this disaster because they were one of the 2 city councilmen now that approved and passed the budget from last year. Okay? Enough is really enough. Start taking responsibility for your own actions. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Joe, can you talk?
Is this on the budget and what we think of it? This is it.
No, well, there's a public hearing
Right.
for the public prior to final adoption of the budget. This is, the council, my understanding tonight, is going to discuss the budget. This is not that public hearing. This is, but you do have the right to comment on the budget.
Okay.
There'll be another chance down the road.
Yes. I'm Joe Minor, and I don't have to tell you where I live. I have asked in the past that you switch your budgeting to more visible, more, open. Frankly, last year's council president was probably the only one who was outspoken in favor of shifting the monies around, no more hidden monies. I have also thought an increase in expenses of the town paid directly would be offset by values going up in the long run. I actually hope that increasing the accurate visibility of where the money is, coupled with the streets getting swept up on Main Street, and putting back the garbage cans they took away, all these little things that now we're going to be doing, and we're going to be paying for these things directly up front. I am thrilled to death that you are going to now start paying our bills up front, not selling more bonds, reducing the value of the town's credit. Enough. I want to know that what is being proposed by, the mayor.
Hey, thank you.
You know, I'm not good with, it's amazing how, the son of his father there, how's that? Good, keep doing it, you know.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
And I'm hoping
Okay.
that it will not be a disaster for the taxpayer.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Anyone else? Before I open it up to council. Okay, seeing none. Councilman Skirbo, we'll start with you.
Well, I think where we're at now is a product of what happened last year during the budget season. That budget was passed flat on hopes that you could fool the public to be reelected. Now we're cleaning up the mess now, as the mayor had stated. All the things that weren't paid, how do you not find a bond, how do you not fund a grant that's 2.6 million? How do you overlook that? I just look at it as it was a failure of the last administration. Excuse me?
Joe.
Shut up.
Thank
About
you.
mine telling myself.
I know.
I'm
Thank
sorry
you, Joe.
it was out loud.
And I think it's our job as council now, we have to put the pieces together and try to eliminate some of the waste and some of the things that happened from before. I do agree, there's certain people that are on this council still that could have maybe offset that last year, and maybe would have thought about it then, and could have helped lower the crunch now that's on us. But you know, that's politics. Some people go that way and they don't look out for what the residents' best interest is. And I think that's where we're at now. So we can't look back, we have to look forward. We have to look at this even more, see if we could get it down anymore. I don't know if we can. I looked over it. I do support what the mayor's trying to do as far as trying to clean up town hall and have it run a lot better than it was before. in a better manner. I do support that it hasn't been done for 30 years, so that could be a result of what we're at now. Like I said, we have to work together, though. We have to work together for the people. We can't keep playing politics on social media, pointing fingers when we know really what the facts are here. So that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Kennedy.
Yes, this budget, I see here, local revenues realized over 2.8 million this past year, and that's an increase of 1.3 million. Now, one of those sources of revenue is paid parking. And when I pushed for paid parking, naturally from some people there was a large outcry over that. But what I saw was people parking in Phillipsburg for free, going over to Easton, okay, people coming for the Apothecarium. I think we took in 2021, $5,000 for the year in revenue. And this past year, it was $120,000 for paid parking. The reason I pushed for it was that I wanted to ease the burden on our taxpayers. That revenue coming in, I didn't really want it going toward new positions and increased salaries. Salaries are up 7% in this budget, and a 13% increase in non-discretionary spending. Now, the budget's available to everyone, okay? It's on the town website, but on page 59, I'm gonna hold this beast up. Everything's being blamed on the past administration. Well, if you look at this chart goes all the way back to 2015. You can see there's very little fluctuation in the budget until we get to 2024. Now, Mayor Piazza, he was on council, he was a council president one of those years, with no opposition. And during that time, he didn't need all these new positions, and they didn't vote for raises. Now, all of a sudden, we need them. Now, last week, rent control was brought up. And, we're hearing how we have to be sympathetic to the renters because we're a town, we're in a poverty situation and whatnot. But for the taxpayers, who's looking out for them? Okay? I mean, council president brings up how he's retired on a fixed income. So am I. And I'm a homeowner. And this budget is totally unacceptable with the spending. Okay? So there is no way I am voting in favor of this budget the way it stands right now. That's all I have.
So since I was brought up, so the non-discretionary are charges that we do not control. They're contractual. The raises, the 7% raises are contractual. They are out of our hands. They're statutory by position through civil service. So I take it up with the state. That it's.
I have a hard time hearing. I want to hear the mayor. I don't want to miss a point, because people will be surprised when I close. Okay, Councilman Clark.
Well, I have to prepare a retort for mine as well. So, I agree with Councilman Kennedy on this. I'm not going to waste time on politics. I'm strictly about the numbers. And what strictly is the truth is an 11% increase in the tax rate is insane. That's $1.2 million increase in tax collections that's being proposed right now. We can't afford that. It's unheard of. Now, just like Councilman Kennedy showed, since 2015, we've been paying our bills. We've been able to keep the tax rate at a normal, steady level. Last 2 years as vice president, I helped pass a flat budget. We do this with fiscally responsible direction. But what we're seeing with this budget, raising taxes being jacked up because of raising spending being jacked up. We're hearing talks of rent control, which would cap investment at 3% annual. And we're not seeing a large increase in revenue. This is a cocktail for disaster. Now, we're seeing a massive influx in spending regarding government salaries. $630,000 increase in that spending alone. Now I understand that we want to increase the quality of life for our town, but we're talking about an efficiency issue, not a bigger government issue. Now, we need to keep spending under control. Now, last I checked, we want to keep taxes where we want, at the lowest as possible, reduce the spending, and I can't believe I'm saying this as the Democrat, but reducing the size of government or keeping it to a minimum size as possible, as simple as possible. Increasing efficiency, not so much size, which then increases spending, which is why you see your taxes going up 11%. I mean, the school board themselves, they're proposing a 2% increase, and they do a 2% every year. 11% is unheard of. $1.5 million increase, sorry, $1.2 million increase. I'm not supporting this. Now, I'm sure that there's going to be some kind of retort, and if I do have a counter, I would like to respond. But this is an irresponsible budget. We were able to keep taxes flat, and we did it responsibly. We were able to pay the bills. And we didn't see any problem until now, because they're looking to expand the size of government, create a whole bunch of new jobs. Now, we heard about, 3 new potential jobs? Now, remember during the first and second meetings of this year, we went through salary ranges. Some of those jobs include a director of public safety, which was a salary range up to $135,000. 2 confidential aides, one of which for a mayor that's part-time taking a full-time salary. Are those being included in this budget as well?
No.
No, so they're not in this budget.
No.
Will they be in any future budgets down the road?
Yeah, 20 years from now, they could be.
20 years from now, oh, that's forward-thinking.
Future is future. 20 years is future. I don't know what the mayor 20 years from now will need. Director of Public Safety, confidential aid. If you're mayor 20 years from now, it's there for you to look at.
Will I have your endorsement?
Not even close.
Well, thank you, but at least we can keep the politics out of this, right? This is insane. This tax hike. I wouldn't even call it a tax hike. It's an assault on the taxpayers. And to use a term that's been used before that actually made the papers, we'll all be living by the bridge if that's the case. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Councilman.
Council President.
President Paulus.
Yeah, the reason why that tax rate is at 11% this year is because half of it is due to the fact of the $600,000 bond payment not being made. That's not even taken into account the interest that has been accrued on that $600,000 because the previous mayor told the CFO not to make that payment. So there's no argument there. So, and as far as any new positions, those positions are not new. They had been in the organizational chart for years. They just were never filled. And at the advice and recommendation for many years, the Joint Insurance Fund has pressured the town into filling that HR position. The mayor's only doing what should have been done years ago. So I don't fault him. And as far as the seniors that are on a fixed income, there is such a thing as a senior freeze. So they should not be affected as the other residents. And when you bring up rent control, I hope you feel so adamantly about rent control as you do about an increase in taxes, because rent control will keep it at 3%. And it will affect those people that are looking at $100, $200, $300 per month, not $20, $25 increases in taxes per month. So I hope you remember that. And the other thing is, if you have any suggestions as far as cuts, I'd be more than happy to hear them.
Councilwoman?
And no, I'm not. As a matter of fact, I've been dealing with government budgets for over 20 years. I know what it takes to put a budget together. And who do you always rely on are your professionals, your department heads, not the people voting on that budget. Because the people that are actually doing the work, they know what is needed to get the job done. CFO Merlo, I can't thank you enough. You have done an excellent job in the best interest of the town. And I have that memo from last year where you stated that budget was a disaster, and what the effects of this year and possibly even next year are gonna have because of what was passed last year. So own it. I'm done.
Thank you. I wasn't really going to talk a lot. But since my name was mentioned, I challenged my federal pension, what they take out for hospitalization, to my colleague who retired from the state of New Jersey. I guarantee you there's about $500 to $700 a month difference. So can't blame it on the town of Phillipsburg. Got to blame it where it goes. Who owns it? The state of New Jersey. That was one. The other councilman brought up school board, 12 years on the board. What do you want to know about it? What did he say? 2% a year. You know why they do that? So your taxes don't go sky high. Okay? Before I get into this other one, Harvard law professor on rent control. It brings people and developers into a depressed area. Because those who are there for a while, their rents aren't going up compared to what the new come in. Just cross the boundary to Lopakon. Some of those people will tell you. Now, I agree. I don't run the town of Phillipsburg. I'm not the CFO. I'm not the mayor. I'm not the BA. We don't rely on those people. No one up here has the expertise because no one works in that part of government. One's retired, one works in a public entity, the other one works in a public entity. One, that kind of public, I retired from the federal government, but the post office is separate from the rest of the budgets. It's self-sustaining. So when I talk, I can prove my numbers. Pay my hospitalization every month. I guarantee you no state retirement employee pays what I pay. So that's enough on that. Now I'm going to ask the most important question. I don't care what happened yesterday. We're cleaning up one hell of a mess. The former mayor, the former council president said it's a disaster. I thought he was going to vote along with then Councilman Piazza Jr., myself, and go back to the budget. No, 3-2. Can't blame it on me. I voted no. Should have went back. Now, I'm going to ask each councilman, and keep in mind, every penny's around $72,000. I stand to be corrected, Bob? You're correct. So if anyone can tell me where you want to cut, now's the time to tell me. Do you want to cut the police department with all the stuff they got going on? Let me know. But if you cut them, you got to cut DPW. You got to cut office. Right down the line, equality. So when you can tell me what you want to do, we'll discuss it. Any councilman have any ideas? You got to own it. None of this running on Facebook or that. Say, I didn't say it. You're going to say it in front of the public, in front of the press. Where do you want to cut?
Wait a minute.
Go.
To already state, Councilman Kennedy and I already have a track record for bringing in 2 flat budgets. We don't have to explain anything further. We're not the ones in leadership now. You are. Lead.
Oh, my God.
Council President.
Council
President. Hold it. Can I?
Okay.
So we've done a generally pretty good job of keeping it calm.
Let's keep it calm.
Keep it calm.
Everybody will get a chance to talk on council.
Council President, I have a few words. So we talk about being responsible up here. We talk about looking out for the best interests and doing the right thing. It shows last year that you weren't very responsible by passing that budget. Yeah, you could pass a flat budget 2 years in a row, but what happens next? I think Mr. Merlo explained that last year, and I think he didn't listen to a professional. So that's where we're at now. You could go on Facebook, you can create lies, you could create anything to boost your agenda, but when you come down to the meat of it, this is what we're at. You can't make excuses and claim that you did something and you didn't do it. That's where we're at here. I'm tired of hearing you say the things you say up here that aren't true to the public, they're not true to anything. You don't have any facts to back it up either. So we need to stop doing this because all it is doing is causing a divide, and we're not getting down to what we need to do is solve the problems here in town. It's becoming a disgrace. I have people come up to me every day asking me, what's true and what's not? Well, I'd say, come to the meeting and you can find out what's true. Thank you.
Point of order, Council President. If you call me a liar, you better bring some statistics. I don't take to that kindly. Because you don't show any statistics, any proof. You just go for personal attacks and bully
you want
tactics.
statistics? I'll pull them up for you. I looked into rent control.
We're doing now?
For you guys. Hey, you asked for it, didn't you?
He's entitled to talk, Councilman.
You asked
talk.
for it?
I was being slandered. I
No,
had to.
he was,
No
that's
one's
your
slandering
choice.
He called me a liar.
Okay, Councilman, point of order.
You're saying
here.
you're being responsible.
You have
I'm
an
saying you're
opportunity
not.
to speak. Now he's speaking.
You said you were being responsible. My opinion is you're not being responsible. And I think what you're putting online is not accurate. And I'm allowed to say that if I want. It's my opinion, and I have facts to back it up. Mr. Kennedy listed some Google search rents in town here, which is not from a professional. Anyone can Google anything. It doesn't mean that these are accurate by any means. So I went to a professional, which is a realtor, who deals with it every day in town. This is what he sends me. I'll be sure to send it to you guys if you want a copy of it. I have it right here. So for one bedroom rent, we're looking at $1,600 a month. For 2 bedrooms, we're looking at $2,000 a month. 3 bedrooms, we're looking at $2,500 a month. That's the rent here in town for those, what I just said. The numbers that Mr. Kennedy said were not that, and it weren't accurate. This is accurate, this is facts. That's you want facts, I'll bring them every time. We cannot put misinformation out to the public. It creates chaos, it creates madness. People get confused, they don't know what's real. This isn't politics, this is for the people. That's why I ran, that's why I won. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna clean this town up, and we're gonna do it the right way. We're not gonna put out stuff that's not accurate, just to try to sway people and confuse them. We're not doing that anymore.
Council President?
Your chance. Councilman Kennedy?
Yeah, whether those figures are accurate or not, I mean, I went to several different sources, and we can argue back and forth.
Well, why don't you show them the paper you had then? It's a Google search.
Councilman,
All I can say is,
everyone gets an opportunity.
all of them that I researched, all of them had Phillipsburg at the lowest average rent. That's all I can say, okay? The other thing, I want to address what Council President said. I will not have my pension and what I earned called out here in a council meeting.
Sir, I
Okay?
didn't call your
No,
income,
yes,
I
you
called
did.
your
Yes,
house.
you did. Yes, you
Council
did.
President.
Yes, you did. Okay? I worked for the state of New Jersey for 36 and a half years. I paid into that pension. Okay? The deal was made a long time ago. All right? So I'm not going to apologize for anything that I have coming to me. Okay? If you're unhappy with yours, that's your business. Okay? I'm on a fixed income now. What I have, I earned. And I paid into it. And I'm not going to apologize for it. That's it.
Well, I'm not gonna respond to anything because what I say is the truth, so that's why I worry about it. We pay a lot more on the federal level than you do on the state level. That's why Jersey's in good shape. Mayor, it's all to you.
Just a quick, I guess, amendment to what I had said earlier. The salary increases also include 2 new police contracts, superior officers, and the regular rank and file. So there is 2 new contracts that are included in this year's budget that were not there before. So that's another increase.
And who's going to, say that we don't need more police officers? You don't think that I'm not asking you, but I think we've all been in agreement that we definitely need more police officers. 4 officers per shift is not sufficient for the type of crime that we're addressing. The safety of the officers, the safety of the public is what's most important, especially in light of us, covering Alpha. I don't think anybody would ever say decrease our police force. I would hope not. And I don't think there are any positions that are newly created. It's just that those positions have not been filled over the years.
Quite a few.
So, and the positions that were discussed as far as the confidential aide or the secretary to the mayor and the public safety director are not in this budget. And who knows if they will ever be filled. So that should not even be a topic to discuss. What should be discussed is what's in it now, and the question was, what would you like to see cut? I haven't heard an answer to that question. That was your question, correct?
Yes, it was.
Well, I
Councilman.
didn't hear anything brought to the table. as to what's going to be cut.
I can bring up something, Council President,
Sure,
right
go ahead.
now.
Tell us where you want to cut.
Sure. How about this title, the Deputy Municipal Head for the Division of Maintenance Services, which I voted against.
Okay, what other cuts would you like?
That's it. There's $80,000 right there.
Okay,
So there's
you
a
cut-
penny.
You cut a penny and a quarter.
Well, it's a cut.
It's a cut, okay, we saved a penny and a quarter. Counselor, correct me if I'm
I'd
wrong.
like to address
Excuse
that
me,
cut.
Eric, excuse me one minute.
Sorry.
When you make a cut, you just can't make one cut. Isn't that discrimination? You've got to make cuts in every department?
You can
Or
do
can
line-
you let it go?
You can do line item cuts, but that position's been filled, so if you remove that, you'd be removing the employee from the position as well.
And then he or she would countersue us for removing the position.
It's been done before, yes.
It's been done before. That's what I want to bring up. Okay, Mayor, respond, please.
So I think that position has actually increased the quality of our services. Just within the past few weeks, I think we've seen a substantial increase in the quality of DPW service. And I'm very happy with how that's performing. I think the residents feel that way as well, at least the feedback that I've gotten recently. So if you have any other feedback, please forward it to me, and I will definitely consider it and would be happy to review that. So I would be open to, if either of you would like to not pay the bills this year and defer, if you would like to condone that like you did last year, I'd be willing to listen to that as well. I'm not sure I would go that route, but if you don't want to pay this year's bills like you were okay with not paying last year's bills, I would listen to that as well. Please put it in writing and I'll consider it.
Okay, before we close the discussion on council, I just want to reiterate, you heard someone say 2% a year the school board did. That's why they're not in the hole. The town council last year didn't. It got voted down 3-2. You don't have to be a mathematician to know that if you didn't increase the spending, keep in mind, all these town employees are under contracts. So when they put that money in for their me personally, thank God I don't run this town. I wouldn't pay half these people that kind of money. I pay my wages, federal wages. But we have to live with what we have. So you have to be adult about it. No one wants their taxes to go up. No one. No one in this room does. No one wants their rent to go up. But guess what? It's going to go up because of the mistakes in the past. And I don't want to dwell on the past, but that's where we are today. We heard it last year. It's a disaster. It's going to lead into a year or two. The vote was 3-2, flat budget. But yet you heard 2% the school board goes up every year. Why didn't council say, hey, bring it up 1%, bring it up 2%? There again, P-Bird politics. And now here we are. We're stuck with a budget that you can't avoid. Now, no one has told me, do you want to cut 10 cops? Do you want to cut 20 guys off the DPW? Do you want to cut 3 people out of the municipal building? Do you want to make this cut? No one has told me that. You can't cut a penny. A penny, you're going to go tell the employee, I'm going to cut you. They'll go to a good lawyer, then we're going to get a lawsuit, and now we're going to spend 8 pennies to pay for that lawsuit. Okay? Face reality. We didn't put us in this hole. Former Councilman Piazza Jr. and myself voted no. We've seen it coming. We're not the municipal experts, and I honor and respect all the professionals. That's why they went to college. That's why they learned it. That's why they did it. And if you don't make the change and we continue this line, guess what? No one's going to want to come here. Right now, there's people knocking on the door that want to come in. When people tell you, the working people, the people on the streets of Phillipsburg, and I'm all over Phillipsburg, when you have people who own a lot of property say, I can go, I shouldn't talk about rent control right now, 2-3% is good with me. If they're good with it, I can't see a problem up here. I mean, when they tell me, I want numbers, tell me 10 cops, tell me 15 DPW. Then when you get a foot of snow, don't call me up, get a shovel out. Tell me who you want to cut and how many people. When Mayor Wyatt was mayor and I was president of council 20 years ago, that was his line. Tell me what you want to cut. How many people you want to cut from each department? Across the board. 12 years on the school board, when I was on, not some of those states that you'll see 7%, 2% every year. 2% every year. And no one during my terms got laid off. No one. So if they want to tell me who you want to cut, and I'm going to vote no, by the way, tell me. Put it on a record. Put it on a record. Own it. Be an adult. Own it. You think us people pushing 80 want to see anything go up? Hell no. It goes up. They give you a 2.3%, whatever, and they raise your insurance, your hospital insurance, and your Medicare. That's really good math. They ought to give them guys a bonus every year in Congress. Okay, so that's where we are. Tell me, council, who you want to cut and how many you want to cut. Okay, moving on. Public petition, state your name only. Then Mayor, then you're going to finish up, if you like. If you like. Sure. Equal time for everybody.
I'm Joe Minor. I'm here to beg you. You started the year. First, you're going to know. I am not going to talk about anything that happened last year. I don't give a damn about last year. You're writing a new budget for this year. Now, I'm going to specifically, when she was a citizen, I was opposed to her ideas, but she had I was the loyal opposition. As a councilman, I was in favor of your ideas. Now, I still think she's an honest person. All of you are honest, decent people. You wouldn't even be there. There's no money to be made as a councilman in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. You got to have some stupid do-gooder heart in you, or you wouldn't be doing the job you're doing. Get back to being the loyal. I am now the loyal opposition there, and I am now the ally there. But I still have respect for both of you. And I know it's hard sitting in those seats and having somebody sock you figuratively in the mouth, and you don't have to offer the other cheek. Just shut up until you're ready to respond, not to the person, and not to the offense, and not to, I don't read social media. If people won't put their name on it, I don't read it. Thank God for small favors. I'd be as crazy as you. Get along with each other, please. I beg you, like you did last week and the week before. Don't let this thing get pushed to that place where you forget you're merely the loyal opposition to each other. And stick to the budget. Yeah, there are some legitimate questions. There's no way you can answer a direct, clever question with a direct, clever answer. We all think about it, and we're all human beings. Don't forget you're a human being every minute you're up there. Okay, it's a beg. It's a beg. Because I have no authority. I can't make you do anything. Please, get back to getting along by the next week. You have another couple weeks to cool off and get back to working together, looking at each other as loyal opposition, not the enemy. You all want good for Phillipsburg. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. That was very well spoken. Okay, anyone else? Dave?
Is this public petitions open,
Public
or is this
petitions.
public petitions only on the tax?
Only on the budget.
Only on the
No, it's
Oh, no.
gonna say
Public petition. My fault, Dave.
Good evening, David Morissette, address redacted. Good spirited discussion this evening. So I just wanted to mention three things that I heard tonight. that I think might not be accurate, and I just wanted to say something. There was a statement here that the increase in taxes would be $25 per household.
45 a quarter on every 100 assessed, I said.
Right. Well, the comment was it would be $25 per household. So it's $45. It was in the back and forth banter.
Sorry.
Oh, that's
If I
okay.
misspoke.
No, it's not you.
I said $25 per month. I said
Oh, per
that.
month? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably close.
Okay. I did not catch the per month. So it would be about $45 per every $100,000 of assessed value.
Per quarter.
Per quarter.
Yes.
So, the another thing I just wanted to mention, there was some discussion on rent control. I know rent control is not a topic for the last meeting, but the rent control, I understand, is one of the models you're looking at is the low-pat rent control. And the low-pat rent control for the renters in Phillipsburg downtown will not apply. The low-pat rent control is basically for larger than 4 units. And it's really addressed at large complexes. And there was a statement here saying that when you cut, and cut positions, cut departments, that type of thing, that you have to do it uniformly.
You don't have to, but you should.
You don't have to. Council President, your policy would be to do it uniformly.
Right.
But that's your policy. It's not something you have to do. Okay. That's all I have, and thank you very much. And
Thank you.
I enjoyed the spirited debate.
So did I.
You all care.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, motion to adjourn the
So moved.
budget meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned. Phil Brady,
Well, not yet.
8 minutes, got 8 minutes.
Yeah, we got 8 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.